improvement video here at Walters & Wolf. Today I'm going to see if I can eliminate some wasted motion and some over-processing. One of my hobbies is I like to ride dirt motorcycles, and I have a daughter that rides and 3 grandsons that ride, so I'm doing quite a bit of maintenance on the bikes. There's a number of things, kind of typical things when you're doing the maintenance on these motorcycles that require torquing specs when you're tightening certain bolts. It's just a half dozen or so, but every time I work on the bikes, when I'm putting either the wheels back on or the triple clamps or what have you, I can't remember the torque specs. So I've got my torque wrenches, nice and close. So you remember a previous video I did Kaizen foam my toolbox, and I keep it close to where I work on the bikes. But to get the torque specs, I keep all the manuals for the motorcycles on the other side of the garage over here. I'm going to show you where that's at. Coming over here, I've got my manuals stored here in this little magazine rack, and what particular bike it is that I'm working on, I'll pull the manual. I've tagged the pages. I don't know if you can see that, that have the torquing specs. So I'll look up the torquing spec, come to the page, look up what I'm putting back together, and get the correct torquing spec, then walk back to the other side of the garage and tighten up the bolts. So when I come back, I'm going to show you an idea I had, and hopefully you'll see the improvement where we've eliminated some motion and some over-processing. Hey, welcome back. So let's take a look at what we've done. I've gone to the manuals for the different bikes, and I've written down the most commonly used torque specs. And we installed a visual control so that each time I need to know what these torque specs are, I don't have to walk over to where the manuals are in the rack, look them up, and then come back and torque the bolts to the correct spec. So what we've done here is, once I've recorded all that information, I put it in an easily accessible location, which is close to where my workflow is, so that the visual controls are right there, easy to get to, and I can save the over-processing and the wasted motion. So we took that information and put the visual controls right on the lid here of the toolbox where the torque wrenches are, different bikes, the different torque specs I need, and put them in an easily accessible, easily readable location right next to where the torque wrenches are and right next to where the workflow is. That should save some time, and definitely should save some motion and extra steps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.